Hello everyone, welcome back, and this is my first video of 2025, and what better way to start than my 3 easy care houseplants. And what better way to start than showing you this beautiful blue star fern. It likes indirect sunlight, so where I've got it is north facing. It does get light, but it doesn't get direct sunlight. Now these plants like humidity, and what they do suggest is that you mist the leaves to stop the edges of the leaves turning brown. If they do start to lose their blue colour, it's probably because they're not getting enough light. And in the winter you should water them once a week and twice a week in the summer. When I first got this plant, it wasn't looking as healthy as it does now. So what I did, I gave it a plant feed once a week for about a month until it started to regain its health. And it was in the summertime, so it wasn't doing it any harm really. But they do suggest that you don't feed this plant in the winter and you only feed it in the summer every 4 to 6 weeks. Saying that as well, you only really need to water it if the top part of the soil is dry. So if you poke your finger in as far down as you can, maybe an inch or so down, if it feels dry, then water it. But if it feels a little bit damp, don't water it, and don't leave it sitting in water. It doesn't like it either. And I've had this plant probably about 2 years now, and what I do is, if I see any leaves that are just starting to brown, I come down the stem to the plant and I cut it off with a pair of scissors. And this plant, it sort of makes it bush out a bit more. The more leaves you sort of cut off, the more it sort of produces. And when I first got the plant, I had 1 leaf and two segments on the leaf like that, but it sort of morphs into a different kind of leaf. As the plants got older, I've got the leaf structure that looks like that. And it's very beautiful because it's always changing. And also what they recommend you do is that you don't repot them until spring. All the plants are sort of resting in the winter and the spring is not too far away, but they do suggest that you don't repot your house plants until spring. And they do make these sort of copper coloured rhizomes here, and if you gently take it out the pot when you're making new plants, if you gently take it out the pot and separate it, each rhizome that it produces should come with a root and a stem and like a leaf segment as well. And then you plant them horizontal in a houseplant potting mix, but you plant these horizontal in the plant, and that way you'll make new plants. What I suggest is, if you're doing that and you're not keeping the plants, is that you put a tag in each pot, so that if you're gifting it to somebody or if you're donating it for a plant sale, whether it's your local church, a school, or even if you're giving it to a local care home, if you put a tag in your plants, then the person either buying it or receiving it will know how to look after it. But I shan't be doing anything to this until spring. Also, it's a good plant to have around children and pets because it's non-toxic. And another lovely houseplant is this lovely red Chinese evergreen, and that's what I think it is, because I had this as a gift and it didn't have a tag in it, which is why I suggest you tag your plants before you gift them to somebody. But I had this delivered and I think it was just an error with the company that they forgot to put the tag in. So when I did look on to the company, it did describe it as a red Chinese evergreen. It's a lovely looking plant. It's got lovely pink stems, and I think it's one of them plants that the stems are just as pretty as the leaves. And then it's got these lovely touches of red and green on the leaves. It's a beautiful plant. It likes indirect sunlight. It's got air purifying qualities, and you want to really water it when it dries out, then water it. Don't leave it sitting in water, and only water it, as I say, once the soil dries out, then water it. If it still feels damp, leave it alone. And I think that's one big mistake we've all made with houseplants, is that we can overwater them, and you can kill them with kindness. Unless the plant specifically needs water, then leave it alone, let it dry out and then water it. And last but not least is this beautiful snakehead plant, or mother-in-law's tongue, but I think it's better and wiser to use it and say snakehead plant. This one loves direct sunlight, and I've got this in the lounge on the coffee table, which is south facing, so it gets a lot of light through the window. And in fact, it can handle most lights, but I think it does well the more light it receives. Another one that you don't need to water an awful lot. Wait till it dries out, don't leave it sitting in water. And also it's a good plant for purifying the air. It gives out a lot of oxygen in the day, but it also gives out more oxygen at night time. So that makes it one of the best plants that you can have in your house to purify the air quality. Also, I'd just like to add that it is poisonous to cats and dogs. So if you do have pets that you think tend to mess with the plants or chew them, this is not one for you to have in your house. In fact, if you have it in a room that you think your pets are going to disturb it, then it's better to shut the door to that room that the plant's in. Other than that, don't have it. But they are a very beneficial plant to the air quality in your home. You can also take cuttings. If you gently, when you repot it, if you gently take it out and separate it, you can make more plants, and as I say, you can donate them for plant sales and stick a tag in. Also, you can cut the leaves off, pop them in some water until they root, and then pop them up that way. But also, you know, don't water them, like I say, water them every couple of weeks. And in fact, this plant can handle probably a month without water. They're very good at surviving without not a lot of water. So just always check the top of the soil. If it's dry, then give it a little bit of water and don't leave it sitting in water. And I'd just like to add, you can wipe the leaves with either a damp cloth or a cotton ball, something like that, or some kitchen towel that's damp and sort of soft, and wipe the leaves over, because the leaves do get a lot of dust in the house, and to try and keep them dust free is beneficial to the plant. You can try and do this once a week or once a fortnight, but just try and wipe them over gently. And obviously if you have been touching the plant, especially this one, then wash your hands afterwards. And that is it for this week. I hope some of the tips are beneficial to you. And as I say, I've had these plants quite a while. This one I've had for 2 years. This one I've had for about 8 months. This one's relatively new, but I have had one in the past, so I do know what they're about. And they are easy care. My main tip is not to overwater them. I think that's the best thing we can do. But I hope all the tips are helpful to you, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.